On a cold evening in October 2019, an unsuspecting 52-year-old woman stepped into a black car in Amsterdam's busy financial district. Little did she know that this would be the last time anyone saw her alive. The car drove away, and Naima Jillal disappeared without a trace. But who was Naima Jillal, and why did she go missing? Her story is about power, greed, and the risky world of international drug trafficking. Naima was not just any woman, she was known as the Dutch Godmother of Coke. This title came from her deep involvement in the drug trade, where she had great influence. Her life was filled with dangerous connections and big risks, all tied to the drug business. This is the story of how she became such a powerful figure and what led to her mysterious disappearance. Naima Jillal was born on January 4, 1967, in Nador, Morocco. Like many others, she moved to the Netherlands, hoping to find a better life. However, the path she took was very different from most. Instead of choosing a normal life, Naima got involved in a dangerous and unusual world. Her journey would lead her into the risky world of crime, making her story far from ordinary. For many years, Naima Jillal lived a quiet and unnoticed life. No one really knew who she was or what she was involved in. But in 2014, when she was 47 years old, her name came up for the first time in connection with big drug trafficking activities. This was a turning point in her life. As the police and investigators started to look more closely at international drug rings, Naima realized that she was no longer invisible. Her secret life was beginning to be revealed, and she knew her anonymity was fading away. Feeling the pressure, Naima Jillal decided to make a smart move. She moved to Marbella, Spain. Marbella is famous for its beautiful beaches and warm weather, but it's also a place where many of Europe's top criminals live. It was in this sunny and luxurious city that Naima really became known as the Godmother of Coke. Here she built her reputation and solidified her place in the dangerous world of drug trafficking. From her fancy mansion in Marbella, Naima Jillal controlled a big empire. Her way of doing business was simple but very effective. Drug gangs would pay her for room in shipping containers that were filled with normal-looking things like bananas or pineapples. This room was actually a secret code word in Dutch that meant cream, but it really referred to a space where kilos of cocaine could be hidden. By using this clever method, Naima made it easy for drug dealers to move their drugs without getting caught. By helping with these shipments, Naima Jillal quickly gained more power in the drug world. She became very important, acting as a bridge between South American drug cartels and European distributors. Her ability to speak Spanish was a big advantage, allowing her to communicate and negotiate directly with the cartels. This made her even more valuable and respected in the dangerous world of drug trafficking. As Naima Jillal became richer, her love for luxury grew too. She started buying expensive properties in Amsterdam and Spain. Her closet was full of designer clothes, and she had a jewelry collection that many people would envy. She didn't hold back when it came to spending money. In one particularly extravagant purchase, she spent over 700,000 euros on watches from jewelers in both Amsterdam and Spain. Her wealth allowed her to live a life of high luxury, surrounded by the best things money could buy. However, Naima Jillal's greed eventually led her into trouble. She decided to change the way she did business, but in a risky and dishonest manner. Instead of only selling the actual space she had in the shipping containers, she began to sell more space than was truly available. This means she promised to deliver more kilos of cocaine than she could really provide. By doing this, she collected extra money from her clients without delivering the promised goods. This dangerous move helped her make more money quickly, but it also created many problems. Her dishonest actions started to upset other people in the drug trade, and it made her many enemies. This greedy decision would soon contribute to her downfall. This plan made Naima Jillal even richer, but it also caused her big problems. The drug traffickers who paid for cocaine but never received it were very angry. In the criminal world, betraying others like this is extremely dangerous and often leads to serious consequences. People who are cheated in this way can seek revenge, and in this world, such betrayals often come with deadly consequences. Jillal's greed put her in a very risky position, making her powerful enemies who were not afraid to take extreme actions against her. In May 2016, things went very wrong for Naima Jillal. 2 shipping containers from Costa Rica, which were supposed to be carrying only pineapples, arrived at the port of Rotterdam. However, these containers were chosen for inspection by the authorities. When they checked inside, they found a huge hidden shipment of cocaine. In just one container, there were nearly 4,000 kilos of cocaine hidden among the pineapples. This discovery was a major disaster for Jillal and her drug operation, as it exposed a large part of her illegal business. When people found out that the containers were going to be scanned, panic spread quickly. Messages from encrypted phones showed how much fear and chaos this caused. One message, using one of Naima Jillal's nicknames, said, "Aunt, both containers are scheduled for scanning. We're doomed, Aunt. We can't pick them up." This message showed how serious the situation was. Another message was even more alarming. "This is going to cost us so much money and long jail sentences, Aunt. Costa is going to be furious. Everything is ruined." These messages reveal just how scared everyone was about what was happening and the terrible consequences they expected. The name Costa was actually referring to Roger P., a big Dutch drug trafficker. Roger P. was a major player in the drug world, and his involvement in this situation would become very important. What happened next would be heavily influenced by his role in these events. Just as they feared, the police seized the entire shipment of cocaine. In the days that followed, Naima Jillal's criminal associates started blaming each other, trying to figure out who was responsible for this huge loss. The situation created a lot of tension and mistrust among them as they searched for someone to blame. Naima Jillal knew she was in big trouble. She contacted Costa, hoping to fix the situation. She texted him, "We just have to start over again and come up with a new story for now." Costa's brief reply, just saying "right," showed that he didn't seem to believe her plan. Time was running out for Naima Jillal, and she needed to act quickly to try to solve the problem. Let's move ahead to October 20th, 2019. By this time, Naima Jillal had been spending time in both Spain and the Netherlands. On this particular day, she arrived in Amsterdam. It was around 9:30 p.m. when she reached her fancy apartment on Gustav Mahlerlaan, which is in the Zuidas district of the city. Suddenly, 2 men showed up. They pushed Naima Jillal into a dark-colored Volkswagen Polo. The car quickly drove away into the night. This was the last time anyone saw Naima Jillal alive. The investigation into her disappearance would reveal a complex network of criminal connections and surprising evidence. The authorities would discover many secrets linked to her case, showing how deep and dangerous her involvement in crime was. In March 2021, the police from Belgium and the Netherlands made a sad discovery. They were at a big warehouse in the port of Antwerp, which was the same place where Naima Jillal's huge cocaine shipment had been seized years before. While investigating, they found something buried under a newly poured cement floor. This discovery would turn out to be very important for the case. The police used sniffer dogs and ground-penetrating radar to search the area. They dug up the ground and found a purse and some women's clothing. Although they had hoped to find Naima Jillal's body, she was not there. It was a strange coincidence that this warehouse was linked to the cocaine shipment that had caused so much trouble for Jillal. But there was an even more frightening discovery still to come. Rumors started spreading in the criminal world about some very disturbing photographs. People said these photos showed Naima Jillal in some very scary and terrible situations. At first, the police only heard about these photos through descriptions from others. However, they would soon get to see the photos for themselves. The big breakthrough happened when the authorities managed to hack into a secure messaging system called Sky ECC, which criminals used to talk privately. Among all the evidence they found, there was a set of very graphic photos. What made these photos even more important was where they were discovered. They were found on a phone that belonged to Ridouan Taghi, who is one of the most notorious criminals in Dutch history. This connection made the photos even more significant and raised many new questions about the case. When experts looked at the details of the photos, they found a very unsettling timeline. The photos were taken just after midnight on the night of October 20th, 2019. This was only a few hours after Naima Jillal had been forced into that car in Amsterdam. This timing showed that the photos were taken very soon after her abduction, adding to the fear and urgency of the situation. The message was clear. Naima Jillal had probably gone through a very violent and terrible experience, and someone very important in organized crime had proof of it. Ridouan Taghi's lawyer strongly denied that Taghi had anything to do with the photos or with Naima Jillal's disappearance. However, this left many questions unanswered. Why did Taghi have these disturbing images? What part did he play in this troubling story? The answers to these questions remained unclear, and the investigation continued. As the investigation deepened, another name emerged as a person of interest: Jos L., also known as Bolejos. Described as ruthless and cold-hearted, Jos L. was not someone to be crossed, and it appeared that Naima Jillal had done just that. Police discovered that Jos L. had business dealings with both Costa, Roger P., and Jillal. Evidence suggested that Jos L. had invested heavily in the cocaine shipment that was seized in Rotterdam, the same one that had spelled doom for Jillal. A theory suggests that after the shipment was lost, Jos L. wanted answers. Costa, trying to avoid blame, blamed Jillal instead. Jos L. then demanded that Jillal come in person to explain what happened. Investigators believe this is why Jillal got into that car on October 20th, 2019. She thought she was going to a meeting to clear things up, but instead, she was walking into a trap. In April 2021, the case took another turn when a Dutch police officer named Joop M. killed himself. A few weeks later, it was revealed that Joop M. had been seen with both Piet Costa, also known as Roger P., and Naima Jillal years earlier during a cocaine shipment. This raised serious concerns about possible corruption in the police and how deeply connected Jillal really was. The case of Naima Jillal, the Dutch godmother of Coke, is still open, waiting for important evidence to solve this dark story in criminal history. What do you think happened to Naima Jillal? Will we ever find out the full truth? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories. Thank you.